Right now, a subtle wave of calcium dictates your deepest thoughts. It is not just electricity or chemistry, it's pure organizational rhythm occurring within every cell you possess. Imagine the entire body functioning like an incredibly complex, synchronized ocean tide instead of simply a machine that runs on fuel. That patterned movement, the way mitochondria divide and coalesce, is actually creating integrated states in your biology. This isn't just about being well. It's how microscopic cellular patterns correlate directly to macro-level coherence, or what we call flow state. We are looking at the blueprint of synchronized living matter, proving that structure precedes consciousness itself. Think about life not like an engine following strict gears, but more like a vast orchestra where every instrument plays its part with rhythm and intentional overlap. That's the biological reality here. We're finding that cells aren't just ticking along. They are participating in complex patterns of coordinated motion, a cellular choreography dictated by their own internal rules. This pattern generation is fundamentally tied to our highest states of being, those moments of deep flow or coherence. Specific research on calcium signaling flux shows exactly how these micro-level rhythms create the conditions for systemic integration and optimized function across whole organisms. We have been looking at the body as this complex machine. But what if that's a fundamental misunderstanding? What if it's less like an engine of gears and more like a vast orchestra? The research suggests our most profound states aren't simply responses to stimuli. They are built from inherent, microscopic rhythms. When cells begin organizing their movement into coherent patterns, like tiny synchronized dancers responding to deep internal music, that patterning dictates systemic complexity itself. This isn't just biological efficiency. It maps directly onto the conditions that allow for a flow state, or what some call pure being, which means something nobody expected for how our physical state shapes and perhaps even creates subjective awareness. Imagine your body isn't just a machine running gears, but something far more like a self-tuning orchestra. Tiny cells aren't randomly twitching. They are creating intricate patterns of movement, rhythmic oscillations that map directly to states of profound coherence in the whole system. Think about how a single drop of ink spreads and forms complex structures within water without external input. Cellular organization operates on that same principle, minimizing effort while maximizing structural complexity. These synchronized cycles aren't just biology notes. They are potential indicators of our deep subjective experiences like flow or integrated being. But some hardline biomechanists argue pattern generation is merely a noise reduction mechanism, not an emergent property tied to consciousness. Who has the stronger claim? We need to see how this translates into true cognitive states next. We used to think cells were just tiny engines running on programmed lines. But what if they are actually improvising? What if life isn't a clockwork machine but an ongoing symphony? Research suggests that when cellular movement hits a perfect, synchronized rhythm, that coherent oscillation of the cytoskeleton, it's doing something much deeper than survival. It looks like optimized communication across vast distances within the body. Think of it less as gears turning and more like dancers moving together in flawless response to a single unseen beat. The calcium ion flux patterns show the shift towards pure efficiency, toward what we call flow state. But how does that cellular rhythm translate into your subjective experience? That's where things get wild. We've been taught that our bodies are complex machines, a clockwork of gears reacting predictably to inputs. But what if we were wrong? What if the patterns running inside us aren't just random housekeeping, but something far more orchestrated? Think about a flock of starlings. Their movement isn't controlled by a single leader. It emerges from simple interactions between neighbors. Cellular life does this too. We are observing that specific rhythmic activity in how cells move and organize. What we call cellular motility patterning is fundamentally tied to these optimal states we often only feel when meditating or being completely in the zone. It suggests consciousness isn't something separate. It might be an integrated echo of what is happening at the ultramicroscopic level. But if that's true, then where exactly does the pattern originate? We have traced the patterns of life all the way down to the core engine of existence. This cellular choreography suggests that true optimal functioning, that feeling you call flow, deep coherence, pure being, isn't a psychological trick. It's a physical state. Think of an entire cell population not as a collection of independent parts, but like musicians in a massive orchestra finally hitting perfect sync. When our endogenous rhythms achieve this cellular patterning, complexity emerges naturally and effortlessly. The actionable wisdom here is to shift your focus from brute force effort toward cultivating deep internal resonance. Intentional tuning allows you to participate in that inherent pattern generation. The full research archive is at jmthomasofficial.com. It turns out your body isn't just a machine. It operates more like an orchestra. When billions of cells synchronize their rhythms, when they achieve this integrated coherence, that biological hum maps directly onto states we call deep calm or flow. This pattern generation, studied at the cytoskeletal level, reveals that optimal existence is fundamentally about organized oscillation, not brute force energy expenditure. The takeaway? Look for patterns in your own life and movement. Find what rhythm allows you to enter this state of effortless coherence. It's a biological tuning fork waiting for its perfect vibration. The full research archive is at jmthomasofficial.com.